Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived.
Down to the queens.
Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum. I am your host, Dylan Murray, and welcome to Stardom Quest Gold, the best weekly Stardom and Marigold podcast anywhere in the world. I am alone this week because Alex is away on assignment. I'm not sure what that assignment is, but he said he couldn't do it this week. I tried to get a guest, but I was unsuccessful in my efforts. I probably could have waited until tomorrow, but full disclosure, today's election day in America, where I am obviously from. So I imagine if a certain result comes out of that election, I won't really feel up to recording tomorrow. So it's probably for the best that I record today alone rather than deliver bad audio tomorrow, if that makes sense. By the way, even though it's a bit late, if you vote for Trump, I'm disappointed in you. But on to the actual wrestling of it all. We have not a ton to talk about this week. A lot of it is just the Goddess of Stardom Tag League. A couple things from Marigold, but not a ton over there as well. It's mostly just house shows that they've ran, a couple new title challenges and whatnot, some injuries that we have to go through. But for the most part, it was a pretty calm week, and it looks like it will be a pretty calm week moving forward. I actually have not checked Marigold's schedule this weekend. I have no idea what shows they're doing. I should probably do that now. But before we get to Marigold, we have to go to Stardom, and most of the show's going to be about Stardom just because there was a lot of Goddesses of Stardom Tag League stuff that happened this past week, and there's plenty more to come in the coming week before we record next. So why don't we just hop into that? The news, this news section, Alex sent it to me via text. So if there's other news involving Stardom, I apologize. We couldn't really think of any. We talked about it this morning. There wasn't really much we could think of. Biggest news is Stardom outside of Stardom, unsurprisingly. Momo Watanabe and Konami both went over to Pro Wrestling Eve and competed. They were successful, I think. I don't have Brit Rests. You know me. But they had a successful excursion at the very least over to the UK. First time for Momo Watanabe. Obviously, a tag team match where they competed alongside Medusa Complex to defeat Alex Windsor, Sky Smithson, uh, Emerson Jane, and Kanji in 20 minutes. Damn, 20 minutes, 42 seconds. They let them go a while. Was that the main? It was the main. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, apparently it was good. Well, good for them. As you know, I'm not going on my way to watch too much Brit Rest, but it is what it is. Um, Other than that, the biggest piece of news probably coming out from this past week was, of course, Sai Kamatani winning the Regina D Wave Championship at Pro Wrestling Waves Cork and Hall show. Uh, she won it from Yuki Miyazaki, who has been reigning with the belt since late last year, early this year. I think it was December last year. Um, Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Who would have thought? Not a big fan of Saya winning a top championship. Listen, the problem I see is that Wave has had a really bad year, a really rough year, and I think Saya Kamatani is the most bandage champion you could possibly find. I think she's a better bandage champion than Hikaru Shida was when she won the belt. Um, and when she held the belt, I think Sai Kamatani is more capable of delivering for Wave, but I also think that I just don't really like it. I think Wave is the most lukewarm it's been since I started watching Wave in the early pandemic, and it's a bit of a shame, I would say. Kohaku is obviously next up, but she's currently in Stardom's Guys Tag League doing her thing there, and she's had a rough year. So it's not like there were many options to take the belt from Miyazaki, but I just don't think I just don't like Sai Kamatani in her current role, especially as a top champion. I don't think that's where I would put her. Um, I will say this does make it seem like she probably isn't beating Tam for the belt, as my illustrious co-host keeps saying that she should and will at the end of the year. Doesn't look like that's going to be in the cards because I can't imagine the political issues that would go on uh, if Sai Kamatani was both Regina D Wave and World of Stardom champion at the same time. I can't believe that's worth it for Gami and Co. over in Wave. So while I'm not a fan of the decision on anybody's part, I'm not a fan of the decision. I think it kind of makes booking Sai Kamatani in Stardom not that much harder, but it makes it a tiny bit harder. I think Gami made a mistake here, and the booking committee over there, giving the belt to Sai Kamatani. But at the same time, it's you know they got a few hundred more in the building for that Korakuen show. They've struggled this year, so I guess in that sense, I get it. But like I said, it's kind of just a bandage for a company that's kind of plummeting right now. They need to figure something out long term to be more sustainable than just giving the Goth Lady the top championship in your company and the top tournament for that matter. I wasn't a fan of that in the first place. Now she wasn't even a heel at that point. Yeah, she was a babyface still, and I didn't like that either. So yeah, not too crazy about that booking decision, but it is what it is. It's Wave. This is a Stardom Margot podcast, not a Wave podcast, so it doesn't really matter. And beyond that, outside of Stardom, we are also looking ahead very briefly to New Japan Strong. Uh, it is in Massachusetts this time around, this weekend, and it will feature a four-way match between Hazuki Koguma, Trisha Dora, and Anna Jay. I could honestly see any of those four wrestlers winning, if I'm being honest. They will be challenging once again in America, so I wouldn't be surprised if a Trish Adora won or if a Anna Jay won. Ultimately, it's a New Japan Strong number one contendership match, so it's whoever Mercedes Moné wants to face. If she wants to face Hazuki again, that's very possible. Maybe she's seen some Koguma tapes and has seen she wants to do the bear pose. Also very possible. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was just Anna Jay or Trish Adora. Uh, Trish Adora is obviously a really good shout that I think, as a Ring of Honor mainstay, but not a main roster AEW mainstay. I think maybe Mercedes was like, "Oh, I'd like to face her. You should, get her on a path to the championship sort of thing." So it's really a toss up. My gut tells me Koguma. I would really love it if Koguma won. I think that'd be a ton of fun, and I think it would, be something different for Mercedes to do. It'd be something different for the strong championship reign. I think it'd be really cool. But we will see when it comes to that. I am excited for that match, even though it is a New Japan Strong match, so the production is probably going to be a little stinky. Um, but yeah, that and Oiwa versus Kenta are definitely two matches I'm keeping an eye on from that show. Otherwise, it's a New Japan Strong show, and it's not one of the big ones, so can't really get too upset about that. Beyond that, it was a pretty quiet week. It was pretty much just the tag league, and I'm trying to remember what day we left off on. If I had a calendar in front of me, I would probably remember. Uh, right, so there's actually quite a few shows that we need to go through. Because the last thing we covered was the Korakuen. So we need to start on October 34th in Takamatsu. This was Goddess Starly or Goddess of Stardom Tag League show. Um, I am only going to be going through the results of the tournament matches because and a couple key matches that I think matter because there's a lot on these cards and there's a lot of tournament matches. It feels like this tournament just started. We're already in like 26. We've already had 26 tournament matches thus far, and there's still so much to go. So I don't think I'm going to be going through too many of the undercard matches, especially because I didn't watch a lot of them, if I'm being completely honest. I will say on this show, which, by the way, drew exactly 384 spectators. On the show, Saida and Izumi tagged up. They won, and then they started beating the hell out of each other after the match. Thought that was very funny. The miscommunication between my two favorite wrestlers. That's awesome. Um, And then that's another non-tournament. Okay, first tournament match of the evening was Hazuki and Koguma FWC defeating Tam Nakano and Sayaka Kurara when Koguma won over Sayaka Kurara with the diving body press. That moved Hazuki and Koguma up to 4 points, leaving Tam and Kurara down at zero. I like this match. I think this whole show was quite fun. The thing about Tag League this year is that there's just, like I said, there's a lot of stuff, so a lot of stuff kind of starts to blend together, if I'm being honest. But I did really enjoy this match. I thought Hazuki and Carrara did a great job together. I love FWC. If you couldn't tell, I think FWC has thus far been a real highlight of this tournament. Uh, Along with a couple other teams I will talk about in a little bit. But I thought this was a very fun match, a really good match. Tam Nakano is taking a bit of the backseat for Saka Carrara, letting her get those reps in, and I think that's cool. Because when Tam does come in, it's usually a pretty fun exchange. She can get a good hot tag, and her and Hazuki, for example, in this match, really went at each other, and I really like that. But yeah, FWC probably the best team in this league. In their block, I would say definitely. And yeah, I was happy with the result, and I was happy with what this match turned out to be. It was 60 minutes, 14 seconds. That is another aspect of this tournament that this match didn't necessarily suffer from, but certain matches have. 20-minute time limit is kind of tough for some of these wrestlers. I think Tomoki Inaba and Rana Yagami might be the two that are suffering the most for me because they have been having good matches, but they are going so long, and sometimes I'm just like, "Why is this is a lot," you know what I mean? So, not really relevant to this match, but that 16-minute time, or not time limit, that 16-minute time for this match is a trend that I've been seeing throughout this tournament that I'm not super crazy about. Uh, but you know, we will power through. In a match that was shorter than that, shorter than the typical 15-minute time limit, it was Micah and Hanako defeating Peatrock, Mayu, and Momo Kogo in 11 minutes. Micah defeated Momo Kogo. Shocker, I know, with the Enka Itoshi. I thought this was also a very good match. I think, shockingly, Hanako and Momo Kogo did a lot of good work together. Usually, I'm not too fond of that pairing, but I thought they were pretty fun. And Mayu, when she got her shit in, I thought was always really fun. I think, higher on. I like Micah and Hanako as a tag team. I think that's pretty cool. I think they work well together. And I think Hanako, while she hasn't put it together all the way, and I am lower on her than plenty of other people in the community, I do think that her teaming with Micah, even if it is sometimes a bit, you know, obvious. It's a lot of Micah's tried and true stuff. She's had like 17 tall powerhouse tag partners. Not literally, it's two, but still. This has been her bread and butter her entire career. So I think Hanako does look a bit worse in that regard because she isn't as good as Hameka was with Micah. She isn't as good as Megan Bain was with Micah. But I do think Hanako can grow in this role alongside Micah, and it looks like they are. I mean, they got to 4 points here, and they continue to do well for the rest of the. No, it's their last. This, as far as I know, it's the last match they had up until this point. So I was lying. Yeah, I was lying. My bad. Um, but yeah, I do like them as a pairing. I think they will be uh, definitely in contention near the end of this tournament. I think that's what I'm looking at. Uh, And then the main event was Tom and Jerry, Natsupoi and Seriano, defeating Unimon and Aya Sakura. Uh, Seriano defeated Aya with the. Wait, why does it say that? Well, the Ferial Gift, I suppose. It says that Soriano won, but Natsupoi hit that. I don't really remember, if I'm being honest. I don't remember the finish exactly, but I do remember somebody pinned Aya Sakura in this a very good match. Again, I thought all three of these matches were quite good. I was quite humbly and happily surprised that all three of these tournament matches were pretty fun, and I thought this was one probably the best of the three. It was this and This is an FWC one. But I think the interfaction stuff always works, really, if I'm being honest. And I think Aya Sakura, especially, has just showed the fuck up in this tournament. She showed up all year, frankly. I think she's one of the most fun wrestlers to watch in the company, even if she isn't one of the best necessarily. She's just a lot of fun to see. And Uniman works super well against Soriano. And I think Natsupoi and Siriano work well together. There's just so many things to like about this match. I wasn't quite as high on it as, say, Scott, who I talked to about this match. He really loved it. I thought it was just another, you know, quite good match in this tournament. But I did think that all of the things going into it produced a very fun matchup that I do recommend checking out if you are, kind of picking and choosing throughout this tournament. This is definitely a match to kind of just watch because I think it really showed Aya Sakura and Uniman in a very positive light, made them look really good. And, Ano and Poi are now at 4 points at the time of this match. Over the weekend, as the shows go on, you will learn that they are now at 9 points. Because they've had like most of the most of the matches in Blue Block have been Soriano and not split thus far. So they are very high up. They will be hard to catch, but I do think that was a really fun match that resulted in a expected win from the top tiers in Cosmic Angels. The next show was on the second. It was in Munakata, which is outside of Fukuoka. 764 fans came out to see FTC in action. Obviously, Fukuoka Triple Crazy, the three Fukuoka hometowners, Micah, not Natsupoi, Micah, Hazuki, and Koguma. So that was a good number for them in Fukuoka or Munakata. Uh, I'm just gonna keep going Fukuoka. I'm sorry, guys, but yeah. So that was a good number for them on the show. Hanan did return to action. She was in a six-way match. Wait, was she? Yeah, she was. She was in a six-way match that was shockingly won by Momokogo for some reason. Um, didn't watch that. Fascinating. Momokogo won that though. I mean, she beat Rian, but still, you go Momokogo. Um, Beyond that, we get into tournament action. It was Natsupoi and Soriano once again winning, moving to 6 points when they defeated Hina and Lady C, Team Classroom. Uh, yeah, I skimmed through this. Oh yeah, I did watch this. I remember this now. A lot of these matches are kind of starting to blend together, but Ano won with the pottering over Hina. I thought this was fine. I think Hina and Lacey have had better outings in this tournament, that one of which we will talk about in a moment. Um, but I thought this was fine. I didn't think it was bad by any means, but it wasn't anything special either. The next match was Azumi and Miyu Amasaki falling to Natsuko Tora and Ruaka. Ruaka pinned Azumi in 11 minutes 29 seconds. Look, I love seeing Ruaka get the win, but I didn't need this. We didn't need this. We as Azumi fans didn't need this. It was a real shame. I was real upset, and I'm really curious what they're doing with Azumi right now because obviously it looked like she was on her way to challenging for the WGP Women's Championship. She obviously lost last week to Mayu in a tag. She lost here to Ruaka, and then she lost, spoilers, a couple days later to Suzu Suzuki in that special singles match. So I don't know what's going on there. I mean, Taro Okada's an interesting cat. So, we saw Tam Nakano lose what, 7 straight singles matches, or no, I think it was, yeah, 7. How many people were in those blocks? No, it was 6 straight singles matches in the tournament, and then beat Natsuko Tora a couple days later. So, it's possible that we are looking at a Azumi just randomly rising to the occasion, winning the IWGP. But as of right now, things are looking a little dire for my homegirl Azumi. Plus, not looking good for this team, frankly. Azumi and Miyu dropping another point. This is their third match. They eventually go on to win one match over the weekend, making them 1-3 in this in this 8-match tournament. Um, Chances don't look great for them going through, especially with teams like Hanako and Micah and Shuri and Saki Kashima joining FWC as high placers. I think Konami and Tulsaya as well, even BMI 2000 who won here. I just it's looking really rough. I don't think Azumi and Miyamoto are making it through, which is a real shame. I was hoping they would at least uh, have the potential to, but it doesn't look like they're going to have too much luck there because they do still have a handful of strong opponents to go, especially FWC and Shuri and Sakikashima and Psy Queen. So it's not looking great for the the Neo Genesis members that are representing Neo Genesis in the red block, but it is looking good for the one of the two teams at the very least that is representing Neo Genesis in the blue block because the next match was Mei Seira and Kohaku Star Fox defeating Aya Sakura and Yuna Mizumori. Mei Seira, wait, did Mei Seira? No, I think Kohaku won this. Did she roll her up? I think she rolled her up with the paquette. That's what that says. Um, I think she rolled her up. Or did she? They won. I like this match. I thought that it was a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed Star Fox, especially considering, as I said, I've been lower on Kawaku this year. I think she's been pretty. She's slowed down her style, which I don't think is necessarily great. And I thought that she just hasn't really had much to sink her teeth into, and it's led to some regression, unfortunately. But I thought that this match, among other matches that they've had in this tournament, has really showed that Kawaku still got it, and that Meiser is probably the best undercard wrestler in the company. It's her and Zaida, in my opinion. I think those two are just like, you know, pretty heavy hitters. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. This was one of my favorite. This is my favorite tournament match of the show, personally, and I thought it was a cool time. Like I said, or maybe I didn't. It went 11:50. So again, not really going too long for my liking. I just thought it was a quick, fun match, and I said earlier, Ai Sakura and Unaman, really consistent workers. I really like what Ai is bringing to this tournament, and this match was no different. As for a match that was a bit too long, it was Tam Nakano and Saka Karara defeating Rana Yagami and Tomoka Inaba in 15 minutes and 36 seconds. Tam Nakano got her win back with the Violet Screwdriver on Tomoka Inaba. If you remember, Tomoka Inaba did defeat Tam Nakano during her little dark age in the 5 star this year, so Tam Nakano got her win back here. I thought this was a fine worked match. The work was fine, but again, 15 minutes, 36 seconds with, Sayaka Kurara and Rana Yagami. And while I do like Tam and Tomoka as a pairing, I don't think Tam's really in this tournament to be going 15 minutes alongside Sayaka. So I wasn't as crazy about this match. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't what I necessarily wanted. I would have liked a bit more of a sprint from these wrestlers, and it overstayed its welcome a little bit, despite me thinking they both had solid performances, all things considered. Um, Next up is the last tournament match of the show. It was Starlight Kid and Suzu Suzuki making their start in this tournament and falling in an upset to Rina and Azusa Inaba. Rina rolled up Starlight Kid to win the match. I thought this was another solid match, but not anything that I was too crazy about. Uh, I thought that it was fun by all means, but I am a bit lower on the Azusa Rina pairing than some others. I think they do kind of lean into a bit of the more slower tendencies that Hate does sometimes, which is fine. And these tag league matches being a bit longer warrants that. But I thought this match was a fun one that really showed off what Kid and Suzu can do as a team, and what Azusa and Rina can do in a more high caliber area. Obviously, Starlight Kid and Suzuki are not going to be challenging for the new blood belts anytime soon. So getting to see what Azusa and Rina as a duo can do against these top level, these main eventer level wrestlers is really cool, and I really like that aspect of it. I thought it was a good match, another good match on the show. Um, but yeah, I have not seen as much in this pairing as some others have, I think, despite them both being absolute prodigies and tremendous, especially for their age. I think Azusa and Rina haven't clicked with me quite as much as they have for other people, despite me thinking that they are quite good together. Um, but a lot can change in however long it takes. The last match of the evening was, as I said, FTC, Maika, Hazuki, and Koguma defeating the team of Mayu Iwatani, Sai Ida, and Hanako. So uh, each wrestler had their kind of homie on the other side of the ring, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. Special trios tag match. It was a hometown match. There was streamers. Suzuki got the most streamers of the three because she's just like that, man. Micah, I don't know about. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, I like this match. Again, a bit long. Even Mayu said backstage, she's like, "I think I just wrestled for fucking 60 minutes. Was that a Broadway? They had us out there for an hour. It was 22 minutes, but I can see where she was coming from because it did kind of get." Keep going. And I appreciated it for a certain sense because it was a lot of fun and there was a certain novelty to seeing Micah and FWC team together. But it was a long match, which I do think prevented it from, and it wasn't super high paced, high energy all the time. If it like built to being a super high paced, high energy match, in the end, it would have been a great match. And I still think it was a very good match, best of the night overall. But I do think that at certain points, Hanako was in there, for example, and I was just like, yeah, we're taking our time with this one. That's all right, but we're taking our time. And yeah, so I had fun, and I like seeing Ida and Mayu face off against FWC. I think they have so much chemistry together, and it's always a lot of fun to see that. But yeah, I thought that was another fun match to close the show. And now news, kind of, not really. Maika Hazuki and Koguma are officially tourist ambassadors in Fukuoka. Um, much like I'm pretty sure Mariah is in her home prefecture and Torriano is in his. They just hand these things out if it ain't like a main city in Tokyo. If you're a wrestler from there, you get that you're the ambassador now, homie. So good for them. But yeah, that was that show. Another fun one. But it's starting to at this point for me watching these shows, it's starting to kind of wear on me that it's like, damn, there's a lot of tag league matches. There's a lot of match flash that I shouldn't be skipping, and it makes it a bit hard sometimes. But I digressed on, and I watched the next show, which took place on November 3rd, 2024. It was in Oita, Kumamoto, I believe this was. Yeah, this was in Kumamoto. They drew 346 fans in attendance. This show saw 5 tag league matches, and what else did it have? This show, I watched this show I watched the show last night, and I don't remember this like at all. If I'm being completely honest. Wait, did I? Oh, okay, I remember now. I had to read some of my spreadsheets. I apologize. The first match was Maysair and Kohaku's Star Fox getting yet another victory. Over this time over Hina and Lady C, who remain at 0 points. Star Fox now at 4. This time Kohaku did her version of the Tensei of the leaping pedigree sort of thing that um, Miyamasaki also does. I apologize. So they won with that. I thought this is probably the best match that Hina and Lacey have had so far in this tournament. I had a lot of fun with this. I thought they worked quite well against Star Fox here, and I enjoyed it for what it was. Um, yeah, if you're a big Lady C and Hina fan, don't know what match to check out, I would probably recommend this one. I think Lady C looked great. With those smaller wrestlers kind of running around her, I think Hina continues to look solid in these positions. So yeah, and I thought Star Fox did a good job in their own right. Um, no, that was a triple threat match. Next tournament match was Natsuko and Soriano moving up to 8 points, defeating Rina and Azusa Inaba. Um, this is good. I don't think I liked it as much as some others might have. I feel like Soriano and Natsuko for me have been very hit or miss in the sense that it's like their matches are either like pretty lukewarm or they're the best matches of the tournament. Because I would probably give them two of like my three or four best matches of the tournament so far. Certainly my number one, which we'll talk about in the next show. But I think otherwise in matches like this, I just don't see as much from them. And I did think Azusa and Rina did a solid job, all things considered. Um, but yeah, I don't have much to take away from this one. Another four-way match. And then we're back to tag league action. It is Hazuki and Koguma defeating Rana and Tomoki Inaba, leaving Rana and Tomoki Inaba at 0 points and bringing FWC up to 6. This was fun. FWC's fun. Shuri coming out to prevent any funny business with the Kuma pose was funny. I love that like Koguma is just Shuri's fucking arch nemesis because she's so not serious but has beat her like constantly. Um, I think that's awesome. But yeah, I thought it was a fun match. It was an FWC match. Probably one of the weaker FWC matches if I were to be critical here, but I think it was still fun. There was nothing real wrong with it. Um, Also, not much to take from it either. So we move on to the next tournament match, which was Tam Nakano and Sakakura losing to Zumi and Miyu Amasaki. Miyu Amasaki defeated Sakakura, I believe, with the Tensei. Am I crazy? Yes, she beat her with the Tensei in 13 minutes, 21 seconds, finally getting 2 points on the board for Azumi and Miyu, 0-2 line. Uh, yeah, not a fun one. I think the show of all the shows that have happened this past weekend was like the least notable. All the matches were like just solid. There was nothing more if I'm being honest. And this match was just, I think as I touched on earlier, Azumi and Amasaki don't seem like they're going to be doing too well in this tournament. So I think they might be taking a bit of a slower approach to it, which I don't blame them for. But in comparison to like their, really go for broke tournament performance last year, I think this is a bit of a letdown so far. Because they're just having like fine matches. They're not really uh, amazing, nothing divine or design here from O2 line. So, like this was a fine match, but again, I think the show just didn't have much to sink your teeth into, if I'm being completely honest. Though I will say the main event I did enjoy quite a bit, and it is because it saw Starlight Kid and Suzuki defeating Hanan and Saida, the return of Wingori. Wingori starting their tournament off with a loss. They went 16 minutes 36 seconds. Suzu defeated uh, she defeated Saida with the German. Um, I like this. I think that is one thing that I need to remind is that I my favorite team in the blue block has finally started, so I am happy about that. But my least favorite team in the blue block is yet to start, so there is plenty more tournament to go. But I did enjoy this match, though I didn't think it was anything too special. I do need to say that Wingori's presence in these tag league matches and on these tag league shows is necessary because they are definitely one of the best teams in the company, in my opinion. And I thought they showed that here. Not as much as they showed the following day, but I thought they showed a good form, in their first tag match in a month or two. Because how long has Silent been out? In a while at least. So I think they showed that they are still clicking on all cylinders as a team, even in defeat to Crazy Tigers, who I also really like as a team. I think they are interesting. I don't know if I like them as much as I would have liked some alternatives, such as I said last week, Starlight Kid and Umasaki, Suzu and Meisera, for example. Even Starbomb, get Starlight Kid and Azumi as a tag league team. I'm not sure if I like this pairing as much, but I do think they work quite well together, well enough together to where these matches are fun. I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed their previous one, and I think their work is going to stand out as they continue on in this tournament. This is their first 2 points on the board as well, and that was the main event of the evening, 16 minutes, 36 seconds. And the final show to review from Stardom, uh, the 11/4 show. I am forgetting how numbers work. The November 4th show in Miyazaki, which is of course Suzuki's hometown. They drew 420 fans. Nice. Um, First match was a huge 12-person tag match in which I didn't watch, but I did see wrestlers go out and like get like drinks and eat and stuff. Like they went to like the food stand out there. Yeah, so there are people drinking. Like I think Michael like grabbed some alcohol or something. I don't know. Very funny stuff, I will say. I saw some clips of it on Twitter, so I did check out some of the match. It was very funny when they're like, "I do not care about Lady C versus Sonico. I'm gonna go get some alcohol. I'm gonna go get some food. I'm gonna chill." While in the match, I thought that was very funny. But yeah, Hina actually ended up winning that. She pinned Rian. Good for her as well. Yeah. Next match was Yuna Mizumori and Aya Sakura against Rina and Azusa Inaba. This is where I really think Azusa and Rina showed their stuff. I think Azusa and Aya is such a cool pairing with the karate stuff behind them. And obviously we know Aya and Rina is a great pairing as well. So Unimon was kind of the helper here that really let Aya, you know, get in there with two people she meshes super well with and just deliver. You know what I mean? I thought that was a very good match. This was the match where I did see, a performance from Rina and Azusa that I really liked. So I was happy with this one. Went 13 minutes. Aya Sakura pinned Azusa Inaba with a big kick to the head, moving them up to 2 points. They are now both tied, although Azusa and Rina do have one match on the the Cosmic Angels team. So technically, if you're going on like real specific, on technically Unimon and Ai Sakura have a higher potential in this tournament than Rina and Azusa do as of now. But nonetheless, I don't think any of them, either of them are winning. So I thought it was a very good match. Um, Next up was Rana Yagami and Tomoki Inaba losing to BMI 2000, getting BMI 2000 to 4 points. They are 2-1 in this tournament. I I kind of skimmed through this one. If I'm being honest, I needed to get to recording this as soon as possible this morning, and I was watching this and I was like, I just don't need to watch this all the way through. Um, I'm not loving Rana and Tomoka that much this tournament, and I'm not loving Natsuko in this tournament either. So I was kind of like, this is, skippable. But hey, if you thought it was a very good match, think I should watch it, let me know. I will check it out if necessary. But I just didn't think it was a match necessary of going out of my way to see. Be My 2000 pinned Rana, specifically Ruaka did with a lariat. They're really putting Ruaka over here, which hey, I'm okay with that. Shouts out the violent freezer. That's her nickname, her actual nickname. Crazy shit. Um, then on to my favorite match of the tournament so far. It was not and Soriano, Tom and Jerry wrestling to a 20-minute time limit draw with Wingori, Sayakami, or she wasn't in this match. Saya and Hanan. Oh, this match was great. I really did. I loved it. I thought that Hanan against Ano is a real tried and true pairing that I just think works, and I think that I just think everything about this match worked. You know what I mean? Even the fact that it did go 20 minutes makes me more impressed with how great it was. I loved it. I think Wingori is exactly what you want in this tournament. As I said earlier, they just deliver, deliver, deliver. They are workhorses. And as I said with Ano and Poi, when you give them something to eat, they will eat. You know what I mean? They will devour that shit. They will go hard. And I thought this was another case of that. This moves them to 9 points. However, was their fifth match, so they have 3 matches to go. Most people have barely even started. So while they aren't out of reach yet, they are looking pretty primed up to get one of those slots in the final bracket of this tournament. But yeah, if you were going to check out any match from this tournament so far, I would recommend it be this one. Very good stuff from both teams. Love that Hanan's back. Love that Hanan gets to, mix it up with both Ano and Poi because it's just their matches made in heaven, and I think Ida, all you need is her to throw a couple crazy lariats and some good chops, some good forearms, and I'm cool. And I thought she did just that in this match, and she did a great job. So yeah, definitely check that one out. And if you want, you could definitely check out this next one because I thought it was also pretty good. It was Suzuki and Koguma of FWC defeating Peach Rock, Momo Kogo, and Mayu Iwatani. Koguma won with a sleeper hold. She choked the fuck out of her. Crazy shit. I thought it was a good match. Another solid outing from FWC. And as I said earlier, FWC against Mayu works. FWC against Momokogo works. So I thought this match was a recipe for a good match, and they followed it to a T. Nothing too stand out, like nothing you will be amazed by or surprised by, but you should know that Mayu against FWC and Momo is going to give some effort, and Momokogo against FWC is going to go through some strife, and that's really fun. I think Momokogo's really good at that, and I think Hazuki and Koguma are great at dishing that out to her specifically. So yeah, another really good interfaction match that I thought was definitely worth checking out. The final match to review from Stardom this past weekend was a special singles match. It was Suzu Suzuki defeating Azumi with the locomotive German suplexes. I really liked this match as well. I thought it was a lot of fun. I didn't think it was too amazing, but I also think that given this is a special singles match that was for a hometown crowd, it wasn't trying to be anything more than it was. If you get what I mean, it was never going to be more than it was, I should say. I think it was as much as it could be in this match. I really liked that. I appreciated that. Certain sequences really just showed how well they can work together. I really liked the kicking sequences where Azumi would like go for a sweep and Suzu would jump, and like I just thought they did a lot of cool stuff. Obviously, I'm looking at the pictures right now on the website. The stuff outside where Suzu was pushing her around on a cart was funny, throwing her into the chairs. Suzu's a great crowd brawler. Just a lot of fun stuff in this match. I don't think it was the best singles match they could have had. I think given higher stakes, maybe a better not even a better crowd. The crowd was good, but maybe more intense stakes, more intensity, just surrounding this match. It might have been better, but I thought this was a very good match nonetheless, and I was happy that they ran it, even though it meant Azumi takes another fall. I will say, in recent memory, Azumi's been taking pretty quality falls outside of the Ruaka one, which was weird. She took a fall to Mayu, she's taken a fall to Suzu. Don't think these are disqualifying falls, but I do think the Ruaka one was a bit interesting, all things considered, because it feels like they are kind of cycling her down. And if they are, that's okay. I just wonder what's going on with that. But that's all we have for the review section. It is now time for the preview. There are undercards on these. If I'm being honest, I don't want to go through them all. So I'm going to tell you the. Oh wait, is there anything on the? Hold on. I might have to tell you an undercard because yeah, the Korakuen show is happening within the next week, and I imagine there might be a little something on that card specifically. So let me check. Bad audio. I apologize, but I need to make sure. Is there any? No, it's just tournament matches. Okay, yeah, we're just going through the tournament matches for the next couple shows. When does this end? Yeah, we're going to talk about the next four. There's another four. Wait, no, one, two, three. No, three. Thank God. Three. Thank God. Three. Goddess of Stardom Tag League shows to come. In the red block, we will see Mayu Utani and Momokogo face Natsuko Tora and Ruaka. I think this is a good place to humble Natsuko Tora and Ruaka, but I could also see them just going over Momokogo because, like I said, they've been kind of putting Natsuko and Ruaka over, especially Ruaka, and I think Ruaka over Momokogo makes sense. So this is a toss up for me, but I think there are other places that Mayu and Momokogo can lose, and I think this is a place that Mayu and Momokogo could win, and kind of keep things a bit more even, and keep them in not necessarily in the race, but just afloat necessarily. But that's a toss up for me. Next red block match is Shuri and Sakashima versus Tomoka Inaba and Rana Yagami. I think similarly, this is a place where Tomoki Inaba and Ryan Agami could get an upset, especially since Saki Kashima right there. I think that's definitely possible, but I do think Shuri and Saki Kashima are going to stay in this tournament for quite a while, so I'm not 100% certain on that. Frankly, it's kind of hard to predict these shows because we're right in the meat of this tournament and we don't see how it's gonna like we're not at the point where we can really see where it's going to start panning out. So that's not great. But I just knee jerk reaction. I think a Tomoka over Saki Kashima fall here could make sense to me. But Tomoka Inaba and Ronnie Agami are not looking good, even in a kayfabe sense, especially in a kayfabe sense. I think they've looked fine, all things considered, in the tournament so far. Not looking good in the kayfabe sense, so I think they might lose. But an upset is definitely possible there. Moving over to the blue block, we have Momo Watanabe and Tekla finally starting their tournament. Yay! They're going to face Hina and Lady C in a match that they will obviously win. The next match is Hanan and Saida versus Rina and Azusa Inaba. I like this match. I like seeing Hanan versus Rina. I think that's really cool. I think, Ida can really do some cool, fast-paced shit against Rina and Azusa if Azusa and Rina are up for it. But we will see. That is an if, a certain if. Um, I think Hana and Saida need to win that one. Like I said, I think they should probably be up near the top of the block near the end, and this is one of those matches they just need to win to do that. And then finally, Starlight Kid and Suzuki versus Meisei and Kohaku. Interfaction yet again is Star Fox versus Crazy Tigress. I like this match. I'm excited for this match. Don't really have a favorite here. Could be a draw. I think this match of anything on this card looks like a draw to me. But I could definitely also see Starlight Kid and Suzuki winning because they are my favorites to actually get to the finals from the blue block. So them winning here would make sense. But you never know. I mean, I think Starlight Kid and Suzuki are there's no leader, quote unquote, in Crazy Gen, no, in Neo Genesis. But I do think Starlight Kid and Suzuki are the one and the two. So, especially with the fall we just saw, Suzu over Izumi, does lead us to believe Starlight Kid and Suzu are the one and the two, whereas Meisei is probably the four. Uh, so I would say Starlight Kid and Suzuki could win this pretty easily, continue their train of momentum moving forward, coming out of Tokyo New Pier Hall. Next show takes place on 11/10, November 10th. It will see Shuri and Takashima face Micah and Hanako. That could be a revival. Could definitely see a revival there. Uh, yeah, I think that's a revival. Good win for Shuri and Sakakashima. And then elsewhere in the red block, it is an interfaction match that everybody's been waiting for. It is Natsuko Tora, Ruaka against Sai Queen, Konami, and Saki Kamatani. Did I say Saki Kamatani? Sai Kamatani. Yeah, moving on. Momo Watanabe and Tekla against Yuna Mizumori and Ayasaka. Oh yeah, by the way, I think Ruaka should beat Sai Kamatani. That's my take on that match. Next up is Momo Watanabe and Tekla taking on Yuna Mizumori and Ayasaka. Again, win for the champions. Moving on, we will see Hanan and Saida face Hina and Lady C. So back-to-back days, we get Hanan versus one of her younger sisters. Another win for Wingori as well. But I am also excited for that because I think Hanan and Ida or I think Hanan and Hina. It's not easy to say. Hanan and Hina look. I can't fucking speak, guys. This is hard doing the one man podcast. I'm not used to it. I think Hanan and Hina can put in good work against each other, and I think Saida and Lady C can put in good work against each other. And I think they both mesh well as teams. That I just don't see this being a bad match. I think it could be quite good if it develops the way I think it can. Finally, we have a Cork and Hall show. It is all killer, no filler. And what I mean by that is that we have 7 tournament matches on the docket, no other matches on the card as of yet. We will start with the red block where we will see Natsuko Tora and Ruaka face Tam Nakano and Sayaka Kurara. I think that's a Tam and Sayaka Kurara win. I think that is a place you put over your world champion. Over these wrestlers who have constantly tried to get the best of her but just can't. I don't see either of them, uh, targeting that title picture for Tam anytime soon. And I think this is a place that, again, Natsuko Tora and Rocket can drop some points, but we will see. You know what I mean? Maybe they are really all in on Ruaka, especially, and that's where they're going. Well, we will see. The next match is Mayu Iwatani and Momo Kogo facing off against Shuri and Saki Kashima. Another toss up, but I think Shuri and Takashima got it. I think they're going to continue to do well in this tournament. They have to be dark horse favorites in this tournament, if I'm being honest, to win the whole thing. We will see. Shuri might be on track to be in that year-end main event against Tam, but if she's not, I could very easily see Shuri and Sakashima getting another shot at Momo and Tekla and winning the belts in that instance. Um, Finally, in the red block, it is Micah and Hanako against Konami and Saya Kamatani. I think Cycling wins that, especially if they lose to Natsuko and Raka, which I know I kind of said as a joke, but especially if that's the case, I think Cycling do win here. Um, though, Micah and Hanako, I do expect to have a good run. Um, I don't expect anything. I said that I expect like most of these teams to have a good run, and only three of them can actually make it through. So I understand that I might not be making much sense, but we are knee deep in this tag league. It's kind of hard to you know keep track of everything, if that makes sense. Over on the blue side, it is Momo Watanabe and Tekla facing the block leaders Natsuko and Soriano. Could definitely see Momo and Tekla getting another win here, since Natsuko and Ano are kind of uncatchable otherwise. Uh, I think keeping them haltered a little bit at that 9 point mark for a bit, because they do have a few more matches, a few more. Uh, yeah, they have at least one more winnable match, so I imagine that they will get stalled at 9 points at the Cork and Hall, and it'll probably continue in a couple weeks when the tournament resumes after historic crossover. But yeah, I think the champions get that as well. Lovely. Yuna Mizumori and Aya Sakura take on Hanan and Saida. That could be an upset. I could definitely see a Yuna Mizumori upset over Saida here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go all in Hanan and Saida. So we will see. Will be a good match, though. I think Yuna and Ida do mesh well together, and I think two good teams that have been really working their butts off thus far. I'm excited to see what they can do together. Next match is Meisei and Kohaku versus Rina and Azusa Inaba. I'd have to say Mesa and Kawaku, but I'm not really sure because Rina and Azusa did get that win over their fellow Neo Genesis teammates. So I could see an upset here. They might want to give one more big shout to Rina and Azusa, and I wouldn't really mind it. I think Star Fox is a good another team to beat, and I think it's going to be a fun match though, especially if Rina and Azusa bring the fight and bring the energy to it. And finally, there is Starlight Kid and Suzu Suzuki versus Rian and Waka Tsukiyama. That has to be a Starlight Kid and Suzu Suzuki win. I can't see it being anything different. And that is all of the Goddess Tag League to come. Currently, the point totals that I have are uh, 2 points to Konami and Talsaya. Starting in the red block, it is 2 points to Konami and Talsaya, 2 points to Izumi and Miyu, 4 points to BMI 2000, 0 points to Tomoka and Yagami, 2 points to Shuri and Sakikashima, 4 points for Hanako and Micah. Wait, do they? Wait, really? Oh, something's wrong there. That's not great. Yeah, my spreadsheet's wrong. 2 points to Mayu and Momokogo. We have also 2 points to Tam and Karara, and 8 points to Hazuki and Koguma. Down in the blue block, we have a shocker undefeated 4 points for Wak and Rian. We have 0 points for Hina and Lady C. We have 2 points for Rina and Azusa. We have 2 points for Uniman and Aya. We have 4 points for Meiser and Kohaku. We have 1 point for Hana and Saida. We have 2 points for SLK and Suzuki. We have 9 points for Soriano and Natsupoi, Tom and Jerry. And we have 0 points for the yet to be yet to wrestle team of Tekla and Momo Watanabe, also known as Hate Supreme. Yay. 8 matches of theirs still to come. But now it is time to hop over to the Dream Star fighting Marigold side of things, where there is some news, a couple pieces. One is Marigold outside Marigold this upcoming week, this upcoming Monday. We'll see the crowning of the first ever GHC Women's Championship. I have to believe that if a Marigold wrestler isn't winning, there will at least be a couple in that battle royal that would crown the champion, and I'm interested to see who it is. I still am kind of looking at Bozilla as a potential winner of that belt, though I'm not gonna lie, I kind of think she's in the WWE ID program since Marigold is an indie, and that just would make sense. If I'm being completely honest, it just it just seems like that is probably a thing. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's a hunch, but I don't know. It just she said something big's coming soon the day that the WWID thing was created. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying it's a maybe. But otherwise, I think a Mirai could win it as well. Great Sakuya, which is Rika Kawahata, Marvelous, also has to be in conversation. But I am interested to see who wins it and what the belt looks like and what the belt will entail. Like, you know, if even if the Great Sakuya wins it here, if we get a Mirai challenge at 1-1 or whenever the Noah New Year show is, I think that's a big deal. You know, what I mean, I think that shows that it's like, oh, this is a belt that they care about. But we'll see. You know, what I mean, that's something that I'm interested to see moving forward. Otherwise, there is some injury news. So Rhea Seto got dropped on her head on one of these past house shows this past weekend in Sapporo. So she was off the subsequent two shows, though she was seconding in Nagoya. So I do foresee her probably coming back pretty soon without too much damage. It was probably a precaution thing. Otherwise, we have Nanae Takahashi, who Saori dumped on her head, really fucked her up. She got taken out uh, in an ambulance. Also in Sapporo, it appears that she will wrestle against Saori. We are not fully certain yet, but there is apparently a press conference to come about that upcoming Korakuen show that's set to feature Nanai and Saori. We will see if she is healthy for that, and even if she is, I imagine she'll probably be taking some time off before and after that match because it was a pretty gnarly bump. I'm not gonna lie, and we need Nanai around for as long as possible. And I don't think wrestling with coming off of that severe of a bump that just really looked like it rocked her really bad. It's okay if she takes time off. I think it's probably for the best. Um, Otherwise, I think that's all of the news from Marigold. It's time to get into the preview, which luckily is on Cage Match because I watched most of these shows, watched most of them yesterday night with my boys Xavi and Scotty, but I don't really remember all of the outcomes. And Marigold doesn't have a great website, so I don't know the finishes. My apologies. Should have written them down. I didn't. But on the first show, which was the first part of the Marigold Fantastic Adventure in Sapporo show, which was a Sapporo split, drew in 286 fans. Allegedly, it didn't look like there was that many people there, but that's okay. Uh, Lie to me. I really don't care. Um, yeah, this show was sponsored, as far as I know. That's why they went up to Hokkaido so quickly into their tenure as a promotion. Usually, Hokkaido is a bit of a lofty goal, so to speak. So it's I heard it was a sponsored event, so I understand why they put, for example, a Superfly Championship match on the show and why they got Sari. It just seems like it was a show that while it felt low, uh, you know, low end, it was pretty high end, and the matches they booked were pretty big deals. So yeah, starting the thing off, it was Komomo Minami and Naho Yamada wrestling to a 10-minute time limit draw. Naho Yamada currently is kind of embarking on her can't buy a singles win gimmick, as we will talk about in the Nagoya show. That was kind of what was shown here, is that she is on par with Komomo Minami. So that's interesting. I think Naho Yamada is tremendous, and I've liked pretty much every match she's been in. So I don't think I agree with that assessment of her placement on this roster so far, but we will see how that goes moving forward. Next match saw Mila Grace defeat Nao Ishikawa and Rhea Seto. This was where Mila Grace hurt Rhea Seto by dropping her on her head in a like weird it was like a brain buster, but it kind of like got fucked up. It looked like Rhea Seto was pretty messed up, and then Myla Grace won. So yeah, hoping from Rhea Seto, she really brained herself on that, and it was not pretty. Um, Next up, we had Hummingbird and Natsumi Shizuki wrestle against Misa Matsui and Victoria Yuzuki to a 15-minute time limit draw. This was a solid match, all things considered. Hummingbird's still interesting. I'm kind of waiting for her to do something, if that makes sense. I think it was a bit more noticeable in her match against Kamo Minami later in the day, but she only has like a couple moves. She kind of just gets beat up a lot and doesn't really do much on the back end in that sense, or front end. I don't know what would be considered offense. You get what I mean. She doesn't really do much. And elsewhere, I thought Shizuki and Misa did well. Yuzuki and Shizuki are still kind of awkward together sometimes, but Yuzuki has a really fun hot tag. She really is still experimental, and I really enjoy a lot of her stuff, especially in tag team action. And I think that kind of did make this match pretty good. I thought it was a solid match, all things considered, albeit nothing too, you know, insane. But yeah, and then the next match, which I would say was kind of insane, was Bozilla and Nagisa Nozaki versus Kazuya Tanaka and Saori. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Nagisa Nozaki rules ass. She is awesome. Shouts out the world famous Noza bitch. Um, yeah, getting to see her against Saori, which was kind of a preview to next month's Seedling World Championship match, was a lot of fun. That match is going to be great because they work super well together. And then I think Kazuna, getting to tag with Saori was really cool. Getting to wrestle against, uh, you know, fellow former Wave member in Nagisa Nozaki. I thought that was cool, and I think Bozo and Kazuna kind of mesh well together because how drastically different they are. So yeah, that was a fun little match. Nothing too insane, like I said, but I did think it was quite fun, and I love seeing Saori go up against Bozilla and Nozaki, and I really like Kazuna. So I was happy with it. I'm easy to please in these sorts of situations with these house shows, and I thought this was a fun match. Um, but match of the night by far was the main event, which saw Koki Amare, Miko Aono, and Utami Hayashishita defeat Mai Sakurai, Mirai, and Nanae Takahashi. Koki Amare defeated Mai Sakurai in 14 minutes and 43 seconds. Really good shit. Really good shit. Probably should have expected that. I feel like these trios matches are pretty tried and true with this company. If you put in, at least five of your six best wrestlers, or even four of your six best wrestlers, you are going to do well. And you have Utami here, you have Mirai here, you have Nanai here, and you have Miku here, and you have Koki here, and everybody in this match is fucking great. Probably, if Sari's not included, this is probably the no, Shizuki and Misa. Well, it's the roster's great. These are six of their best. It was a really great match. You should check it out. I love Marigold's trios house style. I think it's some of the most fun wrestling of the year, and this was no different. Yeah, really good stuff. Moving on to the evening show, which drew 294 fans. So eight people eight people decided to show up for the evening show that did not show up for the daytime show. And I don't blame them because there was a championship match on the show and there was a preview to the world championship match, which was Nai and Saori coming up in Korakuen this month. On the show, Victoria Yuzuki defeated Naho Yamada in 6 minutes and 55 seconds. I liked it. I really liked it. I thought that Yuzuki and Yamada did well together. I like them both a lot. Um, yeah, that's about it. Hummingbird defeated Kamo Minami in 6 minutes and 54 seconds with maybe the worst frog splash I've ever seen, which was the sixth move she did the entire match. I can almost count them out. She did the Suzuki armbar over the ropes. She did the money clip. She did a high kick. She did the Doki Choki, which got a big pop out of me. Don't get me wrong. Um, she did the frog splash, and I'm forgetting the sixth one. I want to say it was another submission. I'm not gonna lie. Did she do a Rana? Maybe she did a Rana. Yeah, she really just didn't. She doesn't do moves, which isn't great. I think Kamo Minami is finding herself as a like as a character. I think like charisma wise, she's really like coming off the page a bit more. So even when her matches are a bit weaker, I still kind of enjoy watching them because I think she's funny, and I think that's kind of showing out more in these matches. So this match wasn't anything special. I thought Hummingbird is still yet to impress me, which is a bit of a shame because I do like her in theory, and I've enjoyed what I've seen from Cat Mask, but I just hope that she kind of gets to, you know, a consistency with the offense side of things because she is a good seller, but she just isn't really hitting the way I want her to when it comes to offensive maneuvers. Um, Next up, Bozilla and Nagisa Nozaki defeated Mila Grace and Nao Ishikawa. Duh. That took 7 minutes 46 seconds. Bozilla and Nagisa Nozaki, good team. Like them. Also, duh. Next match saw Mai Sakurai and Mirai defeat Kazuna Tanaka and Koki Amare in 11 minutes and 47 seconds. I also like this one. I think Mirai and Mai Sakurai are a very good team, and I think Koki is really has she showed up one day and asserted herself and never stopped, and now she's one of the best on the roster. And I thought this match kind of showed that. Kazuna Tanaka also fucking rules. Alex, never talk dirty on Kazuna ever again because she's fucking is awesome. And I'm happy you're not here this week for me to be able to shit on you for having bad Kazuna takes because Kazuna Tanaka fucking rules. Yeah, respect her and her fucking armbar. Okay, you understand? Get it? Got it? Good. Next match ended in a time limit draw when Miko Aono and Sari fought Nanae Takahashi and Utami Hayashishita. It's lucky this went to a 50-minute time limit draw and it didn't have a higher time limit because 10 seconds before the time limit came to expire, Sari looked like paralyzed Nanae Takahashi. Luckily, she didn't. Nanae is walking. She has a neck brace, but she is walking, and she is fine from that metric at least. But yeah, the Uranagi was just like real dangerous, real nasty. And yeah, I that was a really scary moment in this otherwise really great match. Great might be a bit high praise, but I thought it was a very, very good match. Miku and Utami did some really cool preview stuff. Sari and Nai did some really great preview stuff. Didn't get to see too much Sari and Utami preview, but we did get to see Sari kind of like stare down with Utami before the match, which I think was important given that they are likely going to be facing at first stream in January. So yeah, I thought this was a very fun match, though, I don't think many people are going to be talking about much other than the Nanai injury at the end. So yeah, obviously we here at Stardom Quest Gold are wishing the best in Nanae, hoping that she is all right and that she, you know, recovers from any injuries she suffered here, because it still isn't fully known how severe her injury is. It just seems like she's still slated for the Sauri match. But yeah, we don't really know much about the injury other than she is walking and she is, mobile and whatnot. But she did hurt her neck and she is wearing a neck brace. So shouts out to Nai, pro wrestling's greatest treasure. Passion. Okay, I'll stop. And the main event was Natsumi Shizuki defeating Misa Matsui to successfully defend the Marigold Superfly Championship. This was her V3. Yeah, one, two, three. Um, It was a very good match, though I think it was not as good as either the Victoria Yuzuki one or the first Misa Matsui one. I think that this match did kind of suffer from being in a smaller venue that wasn't as hyped for this match, and I think it made the slower parts feel slower, and it didn't make the faster parts feel as intense. You know what I mean? I'm not always someone who thinks that like a crowd can kill a match. And I don't think a crowd did kill this match, though it was a very good match. But I do think that, looking at the Ryogoku match between these two, especially, that crowd, really amplified it. It really made it something. And I think that was missing from this match a little bit. Also, Misa losing was a bit rough because um, there's not many places to go here, if that makes sense. Like, how do you develop a series of matches, um, with this step down of a match that ends the same way it did last time, if that makes sense. I think that wasn't great. I'm not saying Misa Matsui needed to win, but I do think that just everything surrounding this match made it a bit weaker than I would have liked. And, I still thought it was a very good match. Natsumi Shizuki and Misa Matsui are really good against each other and with each other. They just really click in the ring. So I'm not saying it was bad by any means. I did really enjoy it, but I do think it was a step down from a couple of the previous defenses that didn't include concussions and blackouts. So, bit of a shame there, but the big deal coming out of this match came after the fact when Natsumi Shizuki officially challenged Miko Ano for the United National Championship. She wants to become the first double champion in Marigold history. Obviously, Miko Ano alluded to wanting to challenge Saori and become the first double champion, but Shizuki decided, nah, I'm next up for you. So I'm excited for that match. It isn't confirmed if that's going to be on the Cork in this month or if they're going to hold off on that maybe until sometime next month or on a different show. I know they're running Shinjuku Face next month, for example. They might hold it off for then, or they might do it in Osaka or something. I'm not sure, but I am excited for that match. Shizuki and Aono have yet to meet in singles action in Marigold, at least. Obviously, they wrestled in Actress Girls. But they haven't wrestled in Marigold yet, so I am very excited to see that rivalry, that singles rivalry, reignite here in Marigold, and I'm really excited for that. Apologies, I was checking my phone. So I am really excited for that, and I think that'll be a super fun match, and it's a great way to keep Miku's run going because we're looking at it. It's like she's gonna have to lose it pretty soon to a Mai Sakurai, probably not Shikagoto anymore, but Mai Sakurai, maybe even a Koki or a Mirai. So adding, and I've always said this, I think adding Shizuki to the mix of contenders for both the top titles, even while she's a Superfly champion, is a smart move. I've been saying that from the jump, and I'm happy that they are running with it. I think it's a great decision that they can make, and I'm completely, you know, I'm jazzed about it. Honestly, I'm really excited for that match. I think it should be a lot of fun, and yeah, another on paper, another great title match for Marigold moving into the future. Finally, we have the Marigold Fantastic Adventure in Nagoya show. This happened on the 4th of November, so I didn't get to watch it all because it just happened. Um, and I fell asleep, I'm not gonna lie. But I did get to watch the first match, which I was super stoked on and I really liked. It was Naoshikawa finally getting her first singles victory by defeating Naho Yamada in 8 minutes and 21 seconds. I thought this was lovely. I thought it was high intensity. They were fighting for the love of the game. They were really going all out. They really showed this like never say die attitude, and I know that's kind of cliche, but I felt like they both just really showed out here and they really wanted to win and it felt like anybody's game. Even though I knew who won it, it felt like I was, jumping at every near fall and they were just doing a great job. So I really enjoyed this match. Um, I recommend anybody who does like Naoshikawa to check it out because I thought it was a really good performance from her. And Naho Yamada continues to impress me. Uh, love it, love it, love it. Also, Naoshikawa's German suplexes, chef's kiss, incredible. Next match was Misa Matsui versus Komomo Minami. Matsui won against Komomo in 9 minutes. I did not get the chance to check this out because, like I said, I was short on time. Next match was Nagisa Nozaki defeating Myla Grace in 7 minutes 49 seconds. Same thing about as the last match. I apologize. um, but the next match was Hummingbird and Natsumi Shizuki defeating Kazuma Tanaka and Victoria Yuzuki in 10 minutes 44 seconds. Kind of weird because it was Yuzuki's hometown, but they are protecting Hummingbird very clearly. I thought this match was a bit of a step up for her in comparison to the previous outings, but I didn't think it was, insane. It wasn't like it all clicked for her yet. Uh, and I like Celine Flora as a team, so I think that helped this as well. But yeah, I thought it was a fun match, but there's still something about Hummingbird that I just don't really get, if I'm being honest. I hope it develops as time goes on, but we shall see. Then the main event of the evening was Bozilla, Mai Sakurai, and Miko Aono defeating Koki Amare, Mirai, and Utami Hayashishita. Um, Was it Mai who beat Koki? I'm blanking now. I watched this very late last night, but I believe that is true because I do remember after this fact Mai Sakurai making fun of Koki for not having any momentum, which is admittedly very funny. Um, yeah, I like this match generally. I skimmed through this one. Like I said, I started falling asleep because I had a long day yesterday, and I've had a long week, frankly. But I did think this was a fun little match. A bit of a shocking result considering the power of the side with Utami, Mirai, and Koki, and I guess Bozilla and Miku and I would have expected a draw here if I'm being completely honest, but we didn't get that. We did get my Sakurai winning with a that's what it was with the elbow drop on Koki. So yeah, this was the Dream Star special. I forgot that was the branding on this match. So it was red block versus yellow block. Yellow block wins. They didn't win the tournament, so that makes sense. Gotta love 50-50. Um, but yeah, that's all of the stuff from this past week. Where's Marigold? Wait, does Marigold have any shows this weekend? I apologize. I need to check this because I just realized I have not heard a single thing about Marigold this upcoming weekend. So I'm currently for the schedule on their website that barely works. Um, let's see. Today's the 5th. They have a show. Wait a second. Is that? Wait, is there Quarkin this week? Oh no, that's not good. Is that? No, it's Yokohama. Okay, I was terrified. Um, yeah, I haven't seen any match graphics for the 7th. Is this the 7th? It is. Okay, never mind. I found it. A couple of them. I only see two. That's not great. Okay, matches coming in Yokohama is Marigold Fantastic Adventure 2024 in Yokohama. It will see Yuki Minami face Bozilla. Bozilla's gonna kill her. It will see Nagisa Nozaki versus Naoya Ishikawa. That sounds like a fun match. I'm excited for that. Obviously, Nozaki's gonna win, but I'm here for it, man. Like that's a me match if I've ever seen one. And then we will also see the return of Rei Seto teaming alongside Komo Minami against Naho Yamada and Mila Grace. I think Naho and Mila get the win there because Mila does pick up those wins when it's against these caliber of wrestlers. Though I think that would mark Naho's first win, albeit not, not Naho, whatever her name was in Mask Fiesta, the one that kind of looked like Naho. Wasn't her, obviously. Uh, I think this would be the first win for her in this company, unless I'm just completely forgetting something, which is always possible. Don't forget that. I am very fallible. Um, Other than those three matches, we also have two top matches. We will have damn. Yeah, we will have Hummingbird and Miko Ono take on Misa Matsui and Natsumi Shizuki. Will be interesting to see. I mean, we've only pretty much seen Hummingbird against, Shizuki and Misa and undercarders. So I am interested to see her alongside Aono. I would have liked to see her against her though, if I'm being honest. But there's beggars can't be choosers. But the main event I am super interested in. I do really like it. We'll see Kazuna Tanaka team alongside the Royals or the former Royals. Um, I had a name for them. I don't remember. Teaming alongside Utami and Koki to take on Victoria Uzuki and Mirai Saku. So you have Celine Flora on different sides of this everlasting tag team war that will obviously culminate on the 14th in Korakuen Hall. So this is yet another preview tag for that match. I've been loving these preview tags. I've realized how much these two teams, Koki and Utami and Muraisaku, work well together, and I've been enjoying it every step of the way. I'm excited to see Yuzuki and Kazuna pair off against each other because they haven't done that very often. Uh, I'm trying to quickly check, but I am there. She is. Uh, When's the last time they faced off against each other? Um, yeah, they haven't been on opposite sides in ever. I know they were supposed to, but I think the cards might have gotten changed. So yeah, I think this might be the first time we see Kazuna and Yuzuki lock horns. Um, and I think that's really cool. I'm really excited to see how it goes, what comes out of it. And yeah, I really like that trios match. That's another trios match I expect to be really good from Marigold. Like I said, their house style is just really fucking good, and I expect that to be no different. Um, but I believe that is all for today. I might be forgetting something, but that's all I got. I hope everybody enjoyed. Next week, Alex will be back. I will hopefully be back. I am moving next week, so I it's a maybe, but I should be back to talk about all the stuff that there is to talk about, including that Korkin next week for Marigold and historic crossover, which is yeah, it's like in a week and a half, I think. Um, and it's tag league, all that good jazz. You know what I mean. So yeah, come back next week to listen to more. I hope you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter at xxichiban because I'm 21 on the mic, number one in your heart. And without further ado, I guess it's time to close the show. If you want to stand, you want to stand. If you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you. I can. You know what? No, no. You know what? This is a Marigold podcast. This is half and half. I'm gonna do it my way. Shine forever, Ijo.